The information and opinions presented in this podcast are based on research done at a particular point in time. The fields of medicine, surgery, psychology, etc. are constantly evolving as new studies and movements happen. Please take into account the year of any particular episode's publication, and as new information presents itself, we will do our best to release updated episodes on the topics. Listener discretion is advised for references to medical terminology of body parts. Unless otherwise stated, no one speaking on this podcast is a medical or legal professional and cannot provide medical or legal advice. Welcome to the Trans Field Guide. In preparation for National Coming Out Day on October 11th, we will be presenting a collection of coming out stories from various people in the community. Please take this opportunity to learn from the experiences of others. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Victoria, and this is my coming out story. So, I came out in 2008 as a crossdresser. The memory is burned into my brain. It was Valentine's Day 2008. I was making Valentine's dinner for my wife, and my son was asleep in his crib. I was broiling steaks in the oven, and the f***ing smoke alarm set off and was going off. I was living in a 2-story condo, where the downstairs room, the door, required stairs. So we had a nice 15-foot dead drop-off. I had to shimmy my way up to grab the smoke alarm, turn it off so that the baby could actually sleep. The only problem was, while I was dangling 15 feet over the side of the deadfall, my wife noticed I had shaved my legs. So she touched them, asked me if I liked men, and over a period of time, she decided to do drugs. And that led to our divorce. For about 10 years, I hid who I was because I felt that I was at fault for our divorce. I took it personally. I felt cross-dressing was a bad thing. And all the time, this little voice, this little girl inside of me stayed there waiting to get out. I would see things and just feel that urge, not really understanding it or just denying it outright. So, 10 years goes by. When my wife went to Seattle to see her family in 2017, I remember the one thing I wanted to do more than anything was wear frilly things. I ignored the why for the how. Then I was at home sobering up after getting dressed, after a very long night of getting drunk, and I started thinking to myself, like, what's going on here? Why is it whenever she's away that I want to do this? I started doing a lot of introspection, and I realized I hadn't really dealt with what I was going through. I realized that my ideal life was me as a woman married to my wife. The life I thought would be true, I felt never could be. I really didn't know what to do. I initially came out again as a crossdresser, and with my therapist in 2017, I wrote a letter. And I explained to her my name was Victoria, and that I wanted to shave my beard, and I wanted to transition. So that went kind of lukewarm. Around November, Thanksgiving, I shaved my beard in front of my youngest child and my wife. And she cried. I was a little sad, but, I kind of knew that was par for course. And my youngest son had no idea who I was. He was just like, "Where's Daddy?" So I took the beard, put it in a bag, and I have it stashed away with all my mementos and things from my life so far. I remember feeling very alone back then when I was out, and I went and joined a group of cross-dressers called Feminine Expressions in Dallas. And the first night I went out was a glorious night. It was the most horrible and the best thing I had done in my life so far. I was going to see a friend who came up from Austin for the event. We were going to go see Chicks Rock. And when I got off the highway, I didn't realize they had changed the way the highway flowed. And I blew out a tire. And I was dressed in makeup and fucking terrified. I wasn't sure what to do. I panicked. I freaked out. So the only thing I could really come up to get myself together was I'll try to limp to the hotel and maybe we could change the tire there. My friend had every tool and everything was going great. Then this one last nut we couldn't get off the tire. Some very large Bubba came over and said, "Hey, can I help you ladies?" I was terrified. So he got the nut off. We thanked him. And he didn't assault us. So that was a good thing. And we went to go see Chicks Rock. It was a great night, and I hadn't danced like that since my senior prom. I felt freer than I had in my entire life. The static, everyday male life subsided. I just felt right. I felt this is who I was. The funny thing was, though, the band was just the beginning. After the show, I created an account called Victoria, after Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, as my way of saying to my wife, this is how much I love you. And I wanted her to know how I felt. And on Facebook, I noticed one of the band members worked in Denton. I worked in Denton. And there's a very large, very masculine company there that I work for. And I asked, say, "Hey, do you work for this company?" And she said, "Yes. Do we want to meet?" And we did. And since then, we started a affinity group for LGBT people. We meet once a month for lunch and once a month for drinks. And we're looking to expand. I've semi-come out to my coworkers. I have a trans flag in my cube and a pride flag in my cube. And I started an LGBT affinity group. So if they don't figure out that I'm trans, then they need to wake up. I've started HRT for the last 2 months, and they've been the calmest months of my year. Of all my years, I think. So that's pretty much it. So that's my coming out story.
Like this episode? Tell someone about it. Resources referenced in this episode can be found in the show notes at transfieldguide.com. Stay safe, and remember that I'm proud of you.